Hey guys, welcome to what is potentially my last foster care update with a question mark. If the last 2+ years have taught me anything, it's that I have to trust that God knows what's going on because I sure don't. And as much as that's not a fun thing to always learn, this last few years has really helped cement that in, and I feel like I'm getting pretty good at actually trusting that he knows what's going on, and I will just never know. Yeah, but a couple weeks ago I did a fairly big foster care update, and things were left so open that I wanted to come in and share a little bit of what's been revealed to us in the last couple of weeks. My last update, I said our little guy, R2-D2, had gone home, but we didn't really know if it was like an official thing. His own social worker didn't realize that he had gone. It was a different social worker. It was just chaos. It was chaos. So I wanted to come on and do an update and let you know since then kind of what's happened. So starting from when I last shared this video, I was in contact with his social worker. She didn't know what was going on, so she was trying to contact the social worker that returned him. And that was on a Monday, and I filmed this video right after talking to her, or that video. And then a week later, Monday, I still hadn't heard a thing. So I texted the social worker and was wondering if she had heard anything. Oh, our recycling truck is coming by, and they have like the squeakiest brakes ever. So if you hear squeaking, that's what's going on. I thought I would text her instead of phoning her or something, so that she could have time to gather more information if needed. I thought that would be a good thing to do. And I didn't hear back from her Monday. Tuesday, finally, I was like, okay, I'll try contacting that social worker's boss, going to the supervisor. Like, somebody has to know what's going on, right? So I phoned her, the supervisor, and I gave a little bit of a rundown about what's been going on and just how we weren't sure if he was still technically in our care or not. And that supervisor never phoned me back. Even to this day, still haven't heard back from her. And it has now been, well, tomorrow will be 2 weeks. The day this video goes live will be 2 weeks, and she just never phoned back. Okay, so there's that. That happened Monday. Tuesday. Wednesday, I got a phone call from a social worker, and this turned out to happen exactly like I suspected would happen. It was placement, asking us if we would take more kids in. And thankfully, the person that phoned, that is in the placement area of our child and family services, used to be our social worker. She just moved into placement, I think, in November. So she's very familiar with our family and our case and all this. And so I said, hey, can you tell me what's going on? Because nobody else will. And so she said, yeah, just judging from your file, looks like your house is empty. So I think as of January 4th, R2-D2 was no longer in our home, which is the day that I brought him. We were told like it's kind of a visit the first week, and then whatever. Anyway, so it's like, okay, we officially have no children in our home, and I figured the way things were going, how we would find out would be when they phone us to take more kids in. And so I had a good conversation with the social worker and just said, you know, it's been a long journey. The return process itself was 4 months long. We had R2-D2 for a month shy of 2 years. It's like we all need some time here. We need to just, you know, heal, and also I'm not very confident that just because of our previous experience that this is actually going to work out long term for R2 and then his sister BB8 to actually be returned. We wanted to give it some time, wanted to give our family some time, etc. So I said that we would like our house to be put on hold. We didn't have a particular time frame, especially since we hadn't officially found out that he was gone until this phone call. So actually, even at this point, we don't have an official, like, we're on holding our house. We don't have a date for that, so it's kind of like playing it by ear. So that was Wednesday, and then last week, Thursday, so like just over a week later, last week Monday, finally R2's social worker phoned me and said, yeah, he's not in your home anymore. And I was like, well, I already found that out, but thanks for doing your job. It's not necessarily her fault. It's just been poor communication so much with many social workers. So that was last week, Monday. And then on Thursday, I got another phone call from placement. Same social worker. She knows our family. She knows that our acceptance is 0-ish. We don't really want newborns, but 0-ish to 4 years old. That's what we accepted, mostly because of age of our kids and schooling, because once they're 5, then they're in school, and then since we homeschool, I didn't really want to have to deal with school stuff. So she knows that. She knows we're on hold. I had talked to her a week ago, and she phoned and said they are so desperate, and they were looking for a home for an 8-year-old, which is like double our maximum age of acceptance. And she's like, do you want to hear more details? And I just had to say no. Like, in so many ways that just wouldn't be good for our family right now. My son is only 8. I don't think it would be good to foster. I don't think it would be good for him if we fostered someone the same age as him. We still need a break. We still don't know if R2 and BB8 are going to come back. And she even said, well, we could up your level of acceptance, like how many kids you accept. And she didn't even talk about the age range, but she knows that that was way out of it. And so I had to say no, which was like hard to say no, because it's hard knowing that there is a kid that needs a home. Like, that's not easy. But at the same time, because it was so obviously not a good fit, then it was kind of an easy no. And I didn't want to hear any more details, because the second you hear more details, the second that becomes more of a person, right? Like, they're an actual child waiting. Previously, sometimes when we have gotten phone calls for fostering situations, like our first placement was 2 brothers that were, how old were they? Almost 2 and just 3 when we got them. And at that same time, they told us about those brothers, and they also told us about another set of brothers, and I got like the full info on both of the brothers, and then I had to choose which one we would accept. And it was interesting because like the ones we took had behavioral challenges, and the other ones were physical, like medical challenges. So we made the choice, but I still remember the names of the other children that we have been offered. That's not the right word, but I don't think of the right words all the time, but like had been presented to us, and like those kids still weigh on my heart. So it's hard when you know names, and so I didn't want to know names. So yeah, that is the last couple weeks in a nutshell. We are officially not fostering any children. Our house is on hold, and it's kind of just a waiting game right now. Last week, yes, the beginning of last week, R2 and BB8's birth family texted me and asked if we would be willing to still be in their lives, which we totally want to be, but also just want to wait for R2 to completely bond, because he was so attached to us, and me especially, that I feel like if we saw him too early, it would be too confusing and too hard for him to leave us and to go back with birth family. But we do plan on staying in touch. I'm actually working on a photo album of their pictures from the last couple of years, getting that together, and I want to give that to them. So yeah, we're on hold for an unknown period of time. At this point, we do not plan on continuing to foster if R2 and BB8 do not come back and care. But like I said at the beginning of this video, if I've learned anything in the last 2 years, is like God has different plans than me. He knows what's happening and I don't. So those are the plans that we're making now, but whether or not those are the plans that actually happen, that remains to be seen. So there you go. I'm not sure how much fostering stuff we'll be doing in the next while. That's obviously dependent on where life goes. May is National Foster Care Awareness Month or something like that. So I was thinking of doing a bit of a series during the month of May, and maybe covering some like frequently asked questions or something like that. So if you have any foster care questions that you're wondering about, that you think I could help answer, leave those in the comments of this video, and I'll either talk about those in the next few months, or I'll save them for May for the Foster Care Awareness Month and kind of do a bit of a series. Something I'm thinking about. But yeah, so that's where we're currently at, and I thank you so much for everyone who has been like following our journey and praying for us and praying for the little ones and praying for everyone involved. I really appreciate it. At this point, yeah, I feel like our family just needs a bit of a break. And unfortunately, the social work system here does make things harder to stay involved. That's not the only reason, but like that definitely plays a part in it. So if you want to get involved in foster care somehow in your own city, I would highly recommend looking into it and just be praying for everyone that's involved in these situations. Thanks so much for watching, guys.